A bizarre phenomenon has occurred in the New Zealandian skies, and the Kiwis are freaking out. This strange occurrence managed to shock and mesmerize every single person, from an alien attack to a random wormhole opening up in the sky. New Zealanders have got an endless amount of theories. Luckily, we've got answers for you, because experts have used a very simple explanation to put our minds at ease. Let's get right into it. First up, what is this bizarre phenomenon in the sky? One fateful evening on June 19th, 2021, a very strange occurrence took place in the skies of New Zealand. At around 30 past 7, people living in South Island, including those present in Motueka and Queenstown, experienced a once-in-a-lifetime, terrifyingly beautiful thing when they witnessed strange spiral-like neon blue lights above their heads. It was a delightful sight, but did cause a slight panic in onlookers as well. Well, it caused quite the ruckus, with witnesses excitedly sharing photos and videos of the occurrence all over social media. Turns out, the experts have an explanation for something as insane as this too. Apparently, these wacky looking clouds have a very simple answer attached to them. They were supposedly caused by Elon Musk's Falcon 9 rocket as it passed over New Zealand while it carried a Globalstar DM-15 satellite. The lights were first captured by people living in Nelson, which is one of the cities on New Zealand's North Island, and could also be seen from 750 kilometers south of Stewart Island. And now, let's hear from the witnesses of the event themselves. When we say that people went berserk over this experience, we truly mean it. Anyone present made sure to take to the social media platforms of their choosing and inform the rest of the world about what they were seeing and how absolutely insane it was. One member of the Milky Way Chasers New Zealand Facebook group shared what he captured on his phone's camera, and the photos that he took are absolutely gorgeous. He also wrote that it happened at 7:28 p.m. and that it was still on the move at the time when he posted the message. People thought it was extremely cool and were happy that they got the opportunity to experience it. To some Zealanders, it seemed like a small galaxy forming, while others compared the spirals to a wormhole opening in the sky. A Mapua local, 50-year-old Augustine Matthews, shared that they and their partner ran to the deck of their house to watch the spirals. To the couple, it looked either like a planet or a star. Recalling their experience, the two further explained that it looked like a white dot that had a tiny spiral, and that within the duration of 10 minutes, the tiny dot had managed to spread across half the sky, while the spiral grew thrice in size. As awestruck as they were, Matthews shared that it was really pretty to witness it make its way across the sky. The couple was definitely fascinated with it, especially the fact that it wasn't twinkling or blinking and moved really fast. But one guy kinda nailed the explanation of what actually took place. Another Facebook user, Justin, posted in Astronomy, a group consisting of people from New Zealand, wondering if there was any satellite that was put into orbit over their country or in Australia. He also shared a photo saying that he saw it whilst looking slightly west at a high elevation, Rangiora, Canterbury. Further explaining the photo, he said that it was simply an example of what he saw, since he couldn't really manage to grab a photo from his own camera. He instead grabbed his binoculars and saw what he guessed was a satellite in the midst of the spiral. According to him, the satellite was heading in the northern direction. We appreciate folks like him who live in the moment instead of losing themselves behind their phone screens. His observations, too, were absolutely on point. Under Justin's post, people all but confirmed what he'd seen, saying stuff like they saw it from Hawke's Bay near the tail of Canis Major, and that it moved further northeast from there. Justin was definitely right, because as we already know, the phenomenon was definitely created by us humans, or at least by a rocket created by people. How would experts explain the phenomenon though? An explanation from the New Plymouth Astronomical Society was shared, in which they said very clearly that the spiral thing was most certainly the result of a fuel dump from SpaceX's rocket launch. They recalled that they have seen similar effects before too, and that it's more likely that the Globestar 2 FM-15 by SpaceX had passed over New Zealand around the time of 30 past 7. A 34-year-old Alastair Burns expressed that it was the strangest thing he'd ever come across in the sky. He recalled how this massive spiral moved in a rather serene manner further north until it just kinda dissipated. He also explained that the phenomenon was actually just clouds that were clearly created by exhaust plumes of a rocket and ended up being illuminated by the sun in the same way when sometimes a setting sun lights up the part underneath the clouds that are higher up in the sky. Burns owns a stargazing business on Stewart Island. Physicist at Auckland University, Professor Richard Easter, also gave his 2 cents on the matter. He certainly agrees with the theory that it was the Globestar mission by SpaceX that passed over the New Zealandian skies. The celebrated physicist did suggest, however, comparing the flight path of the rocket to the location where the spiral appeared in the sky. Explaining the occurrence, he shared that when the propellant is ejected out the back, what we get is basically just oxygen and carbon dioxide, which was illuminated by the sun briefly, giving us the crazy looking spirals. The professor further broke down how there were factors that were just perfect to produce these insane looking clouds visible under a starry sky. It was the combination of the geometry of the orbit of the satellite, along with the way our planet was positioned relative to the sun. He also suspected that it was particularly the Falcon 9 rocket that SpaceX uses in order to send satellites into low Earth orbit. Yes, the recent SpaceX missions have been going smoothly, while rivals struggle. SpaceX was captured hauling their Globestar communications satellite into low Earth orbit in the early morning of the 19th by Spaceflight Now. The rocket took off from Cape Canaveral in the US, managing to pull off its 3rd Falcon 9 rocket launch within the time frame of 36 hours. Within a time span of 2 days, SpaceX must have broken all sorts of records by making this mission into a reality, as the rockets successfully carried a whopping 55 satellites into space. Their rivals, those at Rocket Lab, are being given some seriously tough competition as they make efforts to up the frequency of their launches. This has to be the fastest sequence of a 3-time mission by quite literally any commercial rocket company ever. And now for the anniversary of a similar event. This spiral sighting marked exactly a year after a similar phenomenon was spotted across the Pacific region. The only difference is that event took place on June 18th. This one took place a day later. Those clouds were observed as being brighter in some parts compared to others. They were seen in areas that included Samoa, Fiji, New Caledonia, and Tokelau, a small Pacific island. Similarly, people who witnessed the event captured it on their phones as photos and videos, which clearly showed the spiral clouds expanding within a few seconds, only to vanish completely just as quickly. At that point in time, the witnesses felt really confused, lost, and also kinda scared. Understandably so, it makes total sense. The perpetrator turned out to be a Chinese rocket, which released the gases that created the Koru-like spirals that people saw. And now, in other related news, first up, Elon Musk congratulates the team for successful launches. CEO of SpaceX, billionaire Elon Musk, was very happy with the Falcon team as he congratulated them for the successful launches. The man took to his Twitter to talk about how SpaceX successfully executed 3 launches in 2 days flawlessly. And now, world's richest dad plans to up the childcare benefits for his employees. After having twins with one of his executives, a father of 9, Elon Musk expressed via Twitter how he believes that kids are definitely worth it, and how he's planning on increasing childcare benefits for those working at his companies. Yes, plural, significantly. He also hopes that other companies will follow suit. The announcement was made following the controversy of Musk's transgender daughter Vivian changing her name legally from Musk to Wilson, stating that she wants nothing to do with her biological father. And finally, SpaceX to launch more Starlink satellites. That's right, on their official Twitter account, SpaceX has shared that they're targeting July 10th to launch Falcon 9, carrying 46 Starlink satellites to low Earth orbit. The launch will take place at the Space Launch Complex at Vandenberg Space Force Unit Base in California. They've also attached the official SpaceX website's link with further details about the launch. It'll be broadcasted via a live webcast, which is set to begin nearly 5 minutes prior to liftoff. That's a wrap for this video. Would you be scared if you were to look up one day only to witness one of these bizarre spirals? Let us know in the comments below. Make sure to give this video a thumbs up and subscribe to our channel for more videos like this. See you in the next one.